Hello, this is Bonjo. I want to apologize for this interview with Denis Daničic, but the wind screwed it up because it was a terrible weather that day. And yeah, but here it is anyways. And this guy's the man. I love this guy. Here's the interview. Thanks for watching. This is Bonjo. Get a t-shirt. This is the Bonjo show. This is not your show. I traded the 905 for G-O-O-O. This is Bonjo show. Wow. This is Bonjo. I'm here in Split with Denis.
What's up, guys? This is Denis Daničic.
And we're gonna give you expats some knowledge about business life or expat life in general and tourism overall. So I'm gonna ask him a few questions and he's gonna give you the best professional answer he can.
We'll try.
Yeah, we'll try. First off, who are you, where are you from, and why are you here?
So my name is Denis Daničic. My parents are Croatian, but I grew up in the United States. I work as the operations director of a small startup called Cute Puppy Time. We help bring breeders and buyers together, but we'll talk more about Croatia. My company mostly operates in the United States, but we do things like hiring within Croatia, and you know, Joe wanted to talk to me a little bit about business and life here as an expat, or as a returnee, if you will.
Yeah, so how long have you been here?
I've been here for 4 years now. I spent 3 years in Zagreb. The last 6 months to a year have been in Split. I definitely prefer Split. Yeah. Not just because of the coast, the people are nicer, life is a little bit more relaxing.
Yeah,
it's easy going.
It's easy going, yeah. And in Zagreb, it's a little bit more hustle and bustle, a little more, like, I don't know, big city kind of.
Depressing, if you want to say. It is hustle and bustle. It's not like, say, living in New York or Phoenix or Chicago or Toronto, Ontario. What it is like, though, it's really dark because of the weather. There's a lot of fog. You always feel this constant depression. Some people like that. It's a very old Austro-Hungarian European style city. I personally prefer to be on the Mediterranean.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm stumped right now. Don't worry, we can pause this. Yeah. Because I wasn't really prepared for like super business, but
no, we can go towards tourism. Direct.
Yeah. All right. I'll ask you a little business here. So for all the expats that are coming over to Croatia expecting to start a business, what's the first step that they should take, and what's just the overall advice you can give?
The best piece of advice, there's only two pieces. I'm not a legal expert, nor am I an expert in opening businesses up here. But the two things that you should know: one, it's going to be much harder than you expect, much harder than you expect. And two, get a lawyer. You'll need it. There's a lot of paperwork, a lot of bureaucracy, and things can get out of hand very quickly if you don't know what you're doing or you don't have someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, like I'm currently going through the whole process with my house. I bought a house with 5 rental properties in it, 5 apartments that is, and the paperwork has not been easy at all. It's been a year. I've been here a year, as you guys know, and I don't have the rights to my house, and I also won't have it probably this year either. And that's a pretty typical, you'd say, right?
Very typical. Yeah. It's a mystifying jungle. Some people will come here without any ties, not know anyone, and they'll buy a house in 5 seconds. Yeah. Right? Other people will come here, they'll have all the money, they'll have the lawyers, they'll know people, right? And they can still wait years.
Yeah, that's my problem. I have all the money and everything. We're ready, you know, to make money. But this year, last year, nothing, you know what I mean? So it's like a little bit disappointing, I guess. But how about you? Your business, is it going well? Is it like, how long did it take you to open it?
Like, we opened up in the United States, right? So in Indiana. Luckily, that's not too complicated for us, right? The one thing that is difficult here is hiring people. Yeah. So you have, for every available job, 26 unemployed people. You would think it's easy to find someone to work, right? Yeah. But if you're hiring in marketing or development, etc., it can be really difficult. I've posted job applications out on Moiposo, on Facebook groups. Yeah, that's like a Craigslist here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I get no responses. Or even on like our jobs, our official job searches, I will put out our job applications. I'll have no applications, and when I do, the people don't want to work, even if the pay is good. Joe, they don't want to. People aren't reliant on pay here, so they don't want to work too much. Yeah, because I think not all Croats. But I think down here they don't struggle with poverty like they do in the northern part, right? So it's like, so down here they have all self-sustaining, like they usually have apartments or houses or
cafe or something to make money every day, right? Like almost not self-sustaining, but almost pretty close to that, a self-sustaining business. Because you can just have a house and it'll make its money no matter what, you know?
You have a lot of Croats who are on paper extremely abysmal, very, but in reality, because they rent out some property or they do something on the side during the season, especially in Split, Istria, they have actually a decent amount of money, right? They're not Bill Gates, but they have a good amount of money.
Yeah, because if you walk around, even if you look around, everybody's typically well dressed for the most part, you know. And I don't know if it's just like a North Korea thing where they put on this and then behind the doors they don't have bread or something. I don't know, but I haven't been every.
Like the stores are fake. You open it up, it's just
a piece of drywall. I don't know. Yeah, but business overall is tough. But how about, so let's get into tourism a little bit. So the tourism here, what have you experienced? You obviously experienced lots of tourism living here in the last 4 years. So like what should like, is it easy for tourists and expats to come here, like and enjoy themselves, or is it like a lot of, like, you know, when you go to like Turkey or something where they hassle you, or lots of homeless? There's none of that here, it's kind of, you know.
It used to be where people would at least like haggle you or try and take advantage of you, but it's gotten a lot better. In the last few years, Croatia really has become a primarily tourist country. It's easy to come here as a tourist. Even during COVID-19, it's pretty easy to get inside the country. Before, it was even easier. It's not cheap as a tourist. Many people think, oh, Croatia, it's Central Europe. Some people think it's Eastern Europe, the Balkans, whatever they believe, and they think it's going to be super cheap. It's not. It fundamentally isn't. But in terms of how they treat you, in terms of are you going to have any problems or hassle or, God forbid, a criminal dangerous situation, no. That is highly unlikely.
It's safe here. Overall, I think this is, like, being from America, being from Canada, I can say Canada is supposed to be the nicest country, the safest country. And I can tell you this is way safer than Canada ever will be, right? There's like, when's the last time you heard of a shooting? I don't know, I don't really read the news, but I mean, I don't see shootings or nothing here. There was
a shooting recently, but that was, it wasn't.
Never mind.
It wasn't, people die, we shouldn't be like, okay, like, it wasn't gang related. It's not some street gang related violence where a third party is going to be walking down the street and they're going to get shot or robbed. What happened was really a personal situation with a man that was having a conflict with the victims for years, right? You do have some forms of drug activity, etc. But the only violence the only violence you see during the tourist season that I'm aware of has occurred between tourists to tourists. Right? We recently had a British tourist stab another British tourist in the neck in like our little pizza called give me a second, Novalja Zrče, the music festival that
I wanted to get into that too. The kind of tourists, which one, from your experience, which ones are your least favorite, these kind of tours? Like, you might not want to answer that, but I'll answer it first. I think the British, I'll go and say it. I'd say the British, because they're more of like college kind of guys. They'll go out and throw bottles, piss on the streets, cause ruckus, and treat like the women bad mainly because their money's worth so much, so they think they can get away with acting douchey, you know what I mean? In my eyes. I know you don't have to answer that.
No, I will though. It is young British people. Older British people are more relaxed. I think a lot of it is intoxication. But I can say that as an American, I was in a fraternity. We went to Mexico frequently. We didn't do the kind of shit that British people do here.
I know, because of being American, you gotta admit that you guys usually get that shtick about being arrogant and rude.
We get a lot of shit,
but like you guys, actually, all the Americans and Canadians are usually the ones that are kind of cool and calm, you know what I mean? It's kind of crazy.
They'll get just as intoxicated, they'll party just as hard, but in terms of like what I've seen British people do, urinate on a national monument, destroy facades of old buildings, attack the women on the street. I don't typically see that behavior from Americans or Canadians. Australians like to get into fights, but they're not going to go around destroying historical things or going towards
being ignorant. I was at this place in the summer called Backpack Charlie's, or Charlie Back, I don't know what it's called, and it's like this little bar, and it's like filled with like 300 people in it, so we're all holding our beers. It's so packed you can't even hold your beer in front of you, you know?
And
so at the end of the night, all these British people They come out, they're whipping bottles at the wall, pissing. This one guy bit a girl's head. I swear, bit a girl in the head. I thought he was gonna pick her up and call her names because she didn't want to go back to the room with him. I'm like, you just bit her head.
I'm like, we're not dogs.
I'm like, what kind of I'm like, what kind of pickup line is that? Like, jeez.
I should try it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, so we have basically the same views on that, like that kind of tourism, like the worst.
I know people that owned a bar here in Split, and they had brew bites and stuff like that. They shut down the bar simply because the British people that would come during the season, they destroyed. Like they had one individual get inside. This was really the straw that broke the camel's back. They got inside their where they kept all their drinks and all their goods, destroyed everything. And they don't know why. Like, why do they do that? Yeah. That's crazy to me. It's like I don't know. It's those kind of people, man. I just don't get, like, why go, like, why do that? Like, I see these kind of tourists too that are getting drinks, and they have like pounds or euros, and they're like telling the waitress, the Croatian waitress, like, because they know they need the money. So they're making them do stupid things, kind of, or treating them bad. And then when the girl gives them a little bit of attitude back, they're like, oh, it's her problem, you know what I mean? So I always see these kind of like jerk, like a lot of douchey people with, like, not with money, but like, I shouldn't say that, but like usually they're from England. Yeah. No, they're still, I want to say they're still welcome in Croatia. Yeah, but learn how to behave. Like, and that's a good rule any country. Any country you go to, right? You should learn how to behave.
Like you said, like the older, like, there's lots of British people, but the young ones that are like not even like, they don't have a job, they're just here on their mom's fucking whatever. It's like, those are the guys that screw up everything, and for the other British guys that make them look bad. It's not all British. It's just like, you can't pile them all into a category, but I mean, it's typically the young British people. Like, that's what I see. And I don't know. And let's get back to business. I wanted to ask you too, since you know about business, what do you think about the future economy of Croatia, since all the youth are moving out and like leaving the country essentially? And like, do you think there's a future for it, since all the future's kind of leaving? You know what I mean?
We were getting better in terms of that demographic question, but it got worse because of coronavirus. I think that a lot of people are losing jobs in really traditional areas and sectors. Croats in general tend to be a little bit more heavy-headed, and they go with what works with them. I think that, in my opinion, the government or NGOs should take a step forward to teaching young people how to program, how to code, how to market, how to work in different fields that are emerging. We have a huge IT sector that's growing. Companies like Infobip, Optimoroute, The Gordian, which is a marketing company, but nonetheless, these companies are growing. They're offering a lot of opportunities for people, but they need to know those skills, right? They need to know how to work either in tech sales, customer success, coding, programming, front end, back end. They need to learn these skills and kind of adjust themselves to the new market. So if they can do that.
How is the schools here for learning this? And to get these jobs, you have, like, I guess everybody gets, I heard they get college and university almost for free, right? Is that true?
It's free. It's free if you are finishing all your exams on time, etc. And even then, you have to pay the tuition if you don't finish your exams on time, which is 8,000 kunas a month, so about 1,000 euros, right?
So basically, as like you're saying, there's schooling for free, and there's jobs that you guys are creating. So it's like they should have a future here. There's no reason why. I guess there's a reason why they should leave, because they want to experience different countries. They think the grass is greener. But when they, like, I know my cousin, she went to Canada and she cried for a year straight because she's like, this is not like Croatia, you know? The grass is not greener, you know?
It's not. That should also be understood. Like, it's a lot of people that are Croatian, right? They have a heritage. They're people that are Croatian in Croatia, they think, oh, in America it's much better, in Canada it's much better, in Germany it's much better. No, it's fucking not, right? The reality is the pays are higher, but so is the rent, so is the insurance, so is your cell phone bill, so are these things.
Like, from Ontario, where I'm from, I try to explain to people, I said, yeah, I made 80 grand a year, and but I'm like, that's virtually like nothing. I'm like, the minimum wage is, so the average wage in Canada, in Ontario, is 30 grand. I mean, so it should be well above it, but it's like, it's absolutely nothing. Like, rent in my city is rent. It's $2,000 a month just for rent. I'm like, I don't think you guys understand that. Rent, and I'm like, we have the highest cell phone bills, highest electricity. I'm like, here, I guess it's pretty high considering like
the pace.
Yeah,
the pace, it's true. But there are high-paying jobs, and we have really quality universities for that fair. Fakultet Elektronski računovodstvo, so the College of Computer Sciences. It's excellent, right? It's a great education, and I think more people just need to be pushed in that direction. I think that, you know, I'm a business back from. I'm a political scientist, but I've worked in business, and I don't know how to code. I work in IT, but the thing is, I feel that a lot of young people, if I was younger, I would have taken that opportunity, and I was in the United States. If someone had told me, hey, it's not that fucking hard, it's not that difficult, you can definitely push through it, and you have a really good paying job in your country, you don't have to leave, go to Germany and be an immigrant.
You can basically do a lot of these jobs that they make euros and stuff online, can't you?
Yes.
Like coding, you can do pretty much at your own house. Like, cause I know, like my friend, he's considered a computer nerd, but he knows how to make websites. He knows, I don't want to say hack, but he knows all these kind of things. And I'm like, and when we were young, we made fun of him for this, but like now he's like, damn, we should have hung out in the basement and learned computers.
This is something that I told my fiance. We were talking about how these are the new jobs of the future, but 10-15 years ago in Croatia, if you were playing with your computer, like what the fuck are you gonna do in your future? Go to law school, go to medical school, all this shit, and these people make more money than doctors, lawyers, and they work less.
Even like the biggest occupation here, I think they're known to be electricians here.
Mechanics, electricians, people that work on AC units make more money than professors do at university.
It's crazy,
right? Because all those people went to Germany, so there's not many people left. You don't have a lot of supply, so they can charge what they want, right?
So do you think tourism business is they're too reliant on it here, or do you think what happens if one day it just goes away?
It's getting better. I think that we did show ourselves in Corona that if we have a bad tourism season, we'll still survive. But we'll get hurt, and we're hurting. We are hurting badly. It would be a lot.
What happens if it's 2 years in a row, like it could be?
It would be a situation that was unprecedented. The only comparative thing would be the war, right?
Don't you think that they'd pull together, all these people that need money, and be like, we're gonna do what Italy did, and say, no, we're not shut down anymore. We're sick of this, and we'll deal with it. Because it's either you gotta learn how to live with the sickness, or just keep getting screwed in the wallet.
The other option too is that I think that our prices are too high for local people during the tourism season. Eating at a restaurant in Split during the season can easily cost me and my fiance 1,000 to 1,500 kronas. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot,
And the thing is, if we could just bring the prices down, at least for local people, which they say is illegal in the EU, but I think there's ways to do it.
I think we should have a card or something.
Exactly. And you could have people come here during the tourism season. We would have local tourism, but we don't have that because I think it's 67% of Croats cannot afford to go on vacation on the coast in their own country. That's absurd.
That's like
that's absurd.
My family lives in Slavonski Brod. And they're like, oh, you guys are rich because you guys live down there. I'm like, we're literally not rich. I'm like, it's like, I guess considering, to them, for sure, probably we have a little bit more money. But I mean, but it's like we're not rich. What do I think is rich? I'm like, we're just making it, kind of. You know what I mean? And it's just like, with them, I said, when are you guys gonna come down here? They're like, oh, we can't just come down there like you because you guys are rich. You guys think it's easy. I'm like, oh man, and that's sad because it's like when I see people and they can't eat at some restaurants or have like I always used to come to the Riva and have beers at the Olive Tree, and all the locals are like, oh, are you rich or something? Like all the people I know. So I'm like, oh, let's go to my favorite place here, and then they're like, you must be rich if you drink here every day. I'm like, what? And to me, it's like it's not that bad, but it's like then that's what made me wake up to the whole. The locals need their own taxes, you know what I mean? They need their own food prices. I think so. I'm not saying that because I live here now, but it's like you're right. I think they need their own card. Like, I think so.
Or a tax incentive at least for the businesses to sell the locals.
Didn't they used to have this?
I don't think so. They introduced what was called a Crow card, and I don't know whatever happened to that idea. I think it was killed. It was that if a business could take its employers and pay them like 800 or 1,000 kunas on the card, and then they could come out and go to the coast. What are you going to do with 800, 1,000 kunas? You can spend that in a day. Easily. I mean, that's not even your Airbnb, right?
Even like coming here for the day, it's like, for me, it's like if I have a couple of drinks or eat even just a gyro or a euro or fast food somewhere, And it's like, that's like 400 kunas easy. And so like, that's half that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like crazy. I don't know. I don't know what else do you want to...
Is there anything else specific to add? Not really. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
Unless you have anything off the top of your head.
Off the top of my head? No, I covered all the tour. I always want to get the tourist thing because I like when people are like, I don't know, they know about that they're being ignorant, kind of like, you know, so next time they're like, oh, people think we're rude. You know, just like Americans and Canadians kind of smarten up after like I don't know if we were actually rude, but I mean sometimes I guess we probably were. I don't know. I never experienced it myself. I never had like an American friend that would just go bite someone.